some folks really believe, a few gym sessions make them ready to take on real fighters. And every time they learn the hard way that skill beats size. Every single round. From cocky bodybuilders to overconfident street brawlers, these brave souls walked in thinking it'd be easy and walked out seeing stars. So stick around, because we're breaking down the wildest moments when amateur fighters stepped into the ring with pros and got absolutely humbled. Let's jump right into it. 2 pros versus 10 amateurs showdown. We are starting off really strong with this one. A Romanian MMA event just staged one of the wildest ideas ever. 2 professional heavyweights versus 10 amateur fighters in a single cage. The amateurs, much smaller, charged in like a schoolyard swarm, trying to surround the pros. For a few seconds, it almost worked. One of the big men got clipped from behind, dropped to the mat, and suddenly 10 pairs of gloves were raining down on him. Chaos. But heavyweights don't panic, they reset. The fallen pro shook it off, stood up, and the tone shifted fast. One by one, the amateurs got tossed, dropped, or cornered. Some even tried to team up in threes, but it didn't help. The pros stayed calm, trading short, brutal shots. The crowd roared as the lighter fighters began slipping away. By the end of round 2, the referee waved it off. The 2 pros stood tall, hands raised, while the 10 amateurs limped out, battered and breathless. Romania's wildest fight was over. Aikido Master's 5-second reality check. This one might be the shortest fight ever caught on camera. An Aikido master named Sion Heskett walked into a Memphis Mama gym ready to prove that technique and discipline could outsmart brute force. Across from him stood Jason Aldridge, a calm ex-pro fighter with just enough experience to smell danger and end it fast. The bell rang, and before the cameras could even focus, Aldridge threw a clean kick to the body. Heskett tried to reset, maybe planning a graceful counter, but then came a sharp open hand slap straight to the face. The sound filled the room. The master blinked, took a step back, and raised his hand to stop. The fight had lasted about 5 seconds. Spectators stood in stunned silence before breaking into awkward laughter. The test was meant to prove Aikido's real-world power, but it instead turned into a quick demonstration of how fast MMA ends polite philosophy. Cyril Gane's brutal body shot challenge. Some people chase fame, others chase fists. At Aries FC 22 in Paris, amateur fighter Idris Altador decided his weekend activity would be taking body shots from one of the hardest hitters in the UFC, Cyril Gane. Yes, the same Cyril Gane, who folds heavyweights with surgical precision. Altador asked for not 1, but 3 punches to the body, voluntarily. The crowd circled up, phones out. Gane smiled politely, rolled his shoulders, and delivered the first shot. The thud echoed like a drum. Altador braced, laughed nervously, and nodded for another. The second one landed deeper, folding him slightly, but pride held him upright. Then came the third, clean, full power, a punch that could crack ribs through memory foam. Altador stumbled back, eyes wide, trying to breathe through a body that refused to listen. Gane, ever the gentleman, patted him on the shoulder while the crowd cheered the madness. Altador had proven something, though no one could quite agree what. Maybe toughness, maybe stubbornness, maybe just a viral moment well earned. Mad Max destroys 3 opponents every now and then. Russia reminds the world that rules are optional. At a local gym, veteran heavyweight Maxim Mad Max Novoselov, age 47, stepped into the ring to face not 1, not 2, but 3 amateur fighters at once. The setup looked like chaos waiting to happen. But it was chaos only for one side. As the bell rang, the 3 hopefuls hesitated, unsure who should go first. Novoselov didn't wait for them to decide. He launched a sharp kick straight to one man's midsection, dropping him instantly. Before the second could process what just happened, he caught a pair of clean punches that sent him airborne. Suddenly, 3-on-1 turned into 1, and the last amateur found himself very alone. Desperate, he shot for a takedown, but Mad Max sprawled, rolled him over, and locked in an Ezekiel choke like he was folding laundry. The entire fight lasted just over a minute. 3 men entered, 1 man walked out, and somewhere in Russia, another gym learned why you don't schedule group projects in combat sports. Anger versus technique. The boxing lesson. Some experiments start with science. This one started with ego. A man in a red t-shirt confidently declared that anger alone could win a fight. No training, no technique, just raw emotion. To test the theory, a veteran boxing coach agreed to step in, curious to see how long fury could last against fundamentals. Spoiler, not long at all. The moment the bell rang, the self-proclaimed brawler swung a wild left hook meant to end things instantly. Instead, the coach slipped, countered, and landed his own punch twice as fast. He took a deep breath, puffed his chest and tried again. This time even angrier. What followed looked less like boxing and more like shadow fighting at full panic speed. Every swing missed as the coach glided just out of reach. Then came the finishing touch, a crisp right hand straight to the face. The red shirt man hit the mat. The coach walked off, and everyone watching learned that anger doesn't punch nearly as hard as control. Gym bully gets humbled fast. A shirtless guy walked into the gym acting tough. He laughed at the fighters and said he could beat any of them. One fighter was already in the cage, resting after training. The loud guy jumped in and said, "Let's fight." As soon as they started, the real fighter hit him with a hard jab and a kick that made him fall. Before he could stand up, he was taken down and pinned to the mat. In seconds, the bully was tapping out, red-faced and out of breath. The gym went quiet. His confidence was gone just like that. Bodybuilder learns jiu-jitsu reality. We're diving straight into chaos with this one. A massive bodybuilder storms into a jiu-jitsu gym, shirtless, flexing, and shouting, "Who wants to fight me?" Students pause mid-roll watching this real-life cartoon unfold. The instructor.com, as ever, steps forward and asks, "What are you doing in my house?" Seconds later, they square up. The bell doesn't even ring before the instructor takes him down like flipping a mattress. The bodybuilder struggles, arms flailing, and suddenly yells, "Time out." The whole room bursts into laughter. Who calls time out in a fight? He gets up, rips his shirt off like a movie villain, and tries again, only to get wrapped up and flattened once more. In a wild move, he even tries to choke the instructor with his shirt, shouting another timeout, mid-cap. The instructor doesn't punch, just gives him a sharp slap that ends all the noise. Panting, beaten, and covered in sweat, the bodybuilder finally admits defeat. The instructor leans in and asks, "Who's the master?" The man wheezes, "You are." Lesson delivered. Muscles don't win against skill. Olympic wrestler flips massive bodybuilder. We're watching a clash that looks straight out of a cartoon. Juko Salumki, the 80-kilo Olympic wrestling champion, versus Hans Fell, a 140-kilo bodybuilder built like a mountain. On paper, it looks hopeless for Juko. Hans towers over him, muscles carved like stone, arms thicker than Juko's legs. When the match starts, Hans charges forward, ready to crush the smaller man in a bear hug. But Juko barely moves. He slips to the side, grabs a hold, and flips the giant right onto the mat. The crowd gasps. Hans gets up embarrassed and tries again, this time even angrier. Juko's timing is perfect. He ducks, catches Hans's arm, and twists him down like he's folding laundry. Within moments, the massive bodybuilder is flat on his back, arms flailing, face red, completely out of breath. The referee steps in, match over. The audience laughs in disbelief as Hans admits defeat. Juko.com and smiling walks off like it's just another day of training. That night, the clip spread faster. Master of skill, schooling pure muscle in the funniest mismatch imaginable. Boxing coach schools cocky challenger. We're starting with a scene that could only happen in the wild world of boxing gyms. A man drives an hour just to challenge coach Dorian Beaupierre, a former national boxing champion. 52-8 as an amateur Hall of Famer and pro with over 20 fights. The twist: Beaupierre had just come off hip surgery and was literally on crutches. But when he tried to explain that, the visitor called him a coward. So, the coach put the crutches aside and stepped in. What followed was a slow, surgical breakdown. The challenger swung like someone fighting ghosts, chin high, no footwork, no guard. The coach barely moved, just studied him, then tapped him with a jab to the body. Down went the tough guy. He got up, swung again, missed again, and ate another clean left to the temple. Another fall, another lesson. Beaupierre kept talking through it, calm and patient, reminding him that boxing gyms run on respect, not ego. After a few body shots, the man was groaning and gasping like he'd fought 10 rounds. In truth, it lasted 3 minutes, enough to erase all his confidence. Dancing fighter gets knocked out. You have to hand it to this guy. Confidence was never his problem. After dodging a few swings like he was in the Matrix, he decided defense was boring and started dancing full-on, taunting, hips moving, crowd loving it. But arrogance, as always, had a plot twist waiting. Enter Leandro Silva, the Brazilian showman in a villain-style mask. First round. All his smooth, technical, precise. He made it look easy. But then the ego monster woke up. After slipping a few more punches, Leandro breaks into another dance routine, even leans on the ropes like he's chilling on a couch during commercial break. He's grinning, pointing, soaking in the spotlight, completely forgetting he's still in a fight. His opponent sees it, winds up, and a left hook that erases the smile, the swagger, and probably the last 30 seconds of memory. The crowd gasps, the mask nearly spins off, and our cocky dancer becomes a very quiet man on the floor. Moral of the story: if you're going to dance in the ring, make sure the other guy isn't still throwing punches. Charlie Zelenoff meets instant karma. There's overconfidence. And then there's Charlie Zelenoff, a man who turned gym sparring into his own personal delusion documentary. Known online as Z-Money, Charlie strutted around Los Angeles gyms calling himself the greatest boxer alive, even claiming a fake world title from a league no one's ever heard of. His favorite hobby: challenging unsuspecting trainees, then sucker punching them mid-spar to pad his imaginary record. But one day, the universe decided it was time for quality entertainment. A 16-year-old stepped up to shut down Charlie's fantasy career. The bell rang, and within seconds, the teen landed a crisp combo that sent the champion fleeing the ring like a cartoon villain. The kid chased him down, landing a few more shots before Charlie bolted for good measure. The crowd, stunned. The internet, delighted. The video racked up millions of views, a masterclass in instant karma. Even after all that, Charlie insisted he wanted a rematch, proving that denial, not muscle, was his strongest attribute. Kyokushin master flaws. Amateur MMA fighter and bodybuilder stepped into the dojo, confident his size would be enough. Across from him stood a calm Kyokushin karate master, silent and focused. The bell rang. Seconds later, the master's sharp body kick crashed into the fighter's ribs, followed by a clean punch to the jaw. The amateur hit the mat hard, gasping for air. His confidence shattered before the crowd even blinked. Pro boxer destroys street brawler. Lorenzo Trevino, a seasoned professional boxer and MMA fighter known for his clean technique and calm demeanor. Across from him stood a self-proclaimed street legend, a man who thought raw aggression could match real skill. The fight began with wild swings from the street fighter, all easily dodged. Trevino stayed composed, landing precise jabs and sharp counters that snapped his opponent's head back. Within moments, the so-called brawler was cornered, exhausted, and overwhelmed. Trevino ended it with a flurry, dropping him clean. Carlos Condit teaches soldier respect. This one was meant to be all in good fun, a light-hearted event for the troops overseas. But it still showed one universal truth: challenging a professional fighter never ends well. During a visit to support the military, Carlos Condit, then in his prime, was approached by a confident soldier eager to test his luck in the ring. Condit smiled and offered a fair warning: hit as hard as you're ready to get hit. The soldier stepped forward and launched a fast right hand. Solid, but not enough. In the blink of an eye, Condit switched gears, answering with crisp body shots, clean hooks, and a brutal high kick that shook the air. Each strike landed with surgical precision, the kind only years of professional fighting can teach. Moments later, Condit closed the show with a right hand that sent the soldier crashing to the mat. Poetic justice, ending the match exactly the way it began. Reporter humbled by Alistair Overeem during his prime. Even professional fighters hesitated to share the cage with Alistair the Reem Overeem. So when a reporter decided to jokingly challenge him to a grappling match, the outcome was more predictable than kind. What started as a playful stunt quickly turned into a very real lesson in humility. Overeem, already wearing gloves from a previous session, agreed with a grin that said everything. The reporter made the first move, awkwardly diving for an Uchigari takedown, a move that the Reem blocked like swatting away a fly. From there, it got rough. Overeem tossed him around the mat with ease, added a few teasing body shots for emphasis, and then finished the sequence with a smooth front headlock trip. Seconds later, the reporter found himself flat on the mat, staring at the ceiling, realizing why nobody, not even as a joke, challenges the Reem. Joe Rogan chokes out Street Tough. Here's a wild one involving Joe Rogan. And no, it's not on his podcast. It happened outside the Comedy Store. A random tough guy decided to test, arguing and puffing his chest until things got physical. When the man put his hands on him, Joe calmly warned him once. The guy tried again, and that's when Rogan moved faster than anyone expected. In one motion, he snapped the man's head down, locked in a standing guillotine choke, and held firm until the wannabe tough guy tapped out, all in front of a stunned late-night crowd. If you enjoyed watching these bold amateurs get folded by the pros, hit that like button and subscribe for more clips just like this. Tell us in the comments which fights shocked you the most. We're reading them all. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, stay humble, and we'll catch you in the next one.